Mansa Musa, the 14th century ruler of the Mali Empire, he's often regarded as the richest individual in history. His reign from 1312 to 1337 marked the zenith of Mali's power, wealth, and influence in West Africa. Musa inherited an empire that controlled vast gold mines, trade routes, and major cities, including Timbuktu and Gao. The Mali Empire thrived as a trading kingdom, dealing in gold, salt, ivory, and slaves, positioning itself as a hub for commerce and culture in Africa. Mansa Musa, born Musa Keita I, came from the Keita dynasty, which traced its lineage to the founder of the Mali Empire, Sundiata Keita. Musa ascended to power after his predecessor, Abubakar II, embarked on an ambitious and ultimately doomed voyage to explore the Atlantic Ocean. Musa's rule began at a time when Mali already dominated regional trade routes, but he expanded its reach significantly, solidifying control over territories rich in resources and key trade hubs. In 1324, Musa undertook his legendary pilgrimage to Mecca, a spiritual journey that would have global economic and cultural repercussions. His caravan was unprecedented in scale. He had an entourage of over 60,000 people, including soldiers, slaves, and officials. They transported gold, carrying 18 tons. That's 36,000 pounds or 16,329 kilograms of gold, loaded onto 80 camels, each bearing up to 300 pounds, 136 kilograms. Along his route, Musa distributed gold freely to the poor, local leaders, and merchants in cities like Cairo and Medina. This extravagance destabilized economies, believe it or not. In Cairo, for example, Musa's generosity caused the value of gold to drop 20%, leading to an economic depression that lasted more than a decade. In today's money, 18 tons of gold would be worth over $1 billion. But its value in medieval times was far greater, shaping global trade patterns and perceptions of African wealth. Mansa Musa used his wealth to transform Mali into an intellectual and cultural powerhouse. After returning from his pilgrimage, he invested heavily in architecture and education. He elevated the city of Timbuktu into a global center for Islamic learning and trade. The establishment of Sankore University turned Timbuktu into a hub for scholarship, housing thousands of manuscripts on subjects such as law, astronomy, and medicine. Musa commissioned grand mosques, including the Jingirber Mosque, designed by Andalusian architect Abu Ishaq al-Salihi. These projects symbolized the fusion of Mali's wealth with Islamic culture. Mali and Musa became a beacon of civilization, attracting scholars, traders, and artisans from across the Muslim world and beyond. At its height, the empire spanned over 1.2 million square miles, 3.1 million square kilometers, encompassing modern-day Mali, Senegal, Guinea, Niger, and parts of Mauritania. Mansa Musa likely died around 1337, leaving behind an empire of immense wealth and influence. However, his successors struggled to maintain stability and prosperity that he had established. Internal divisions, shifts in trade routes, and the rise of the Songhai Empire gradually eroded Mali's dominance. And by the late 15th century, Mali had diminished. But its cultural and historical impact remained. Mansa Musa's legacy transcends his wealth. His pilgrimage brought global attention to the Mali Empire, challenging contemporary European and Middle Eastern perceptions of Africa. His investments in education and infrastructure laid the groundwork for Timbuktu's enduring reputation as a center of learning. To put his wealth into perspective, adjusted for modern values, Mansa Musa's fortune is often estimated at over $400 billion, making him the wealthiest individual in history. Unlike modern billionaires whose wealth is tied to assets or corporations, Musa's riches were tangible. They were gold, land, and control over trade. His story demonstrates the power of wealth, vision, and leadership in shaping a civilization. His pilgrimage revealed how interconnected medieval economies were, as his actions influenced currency values and trade networks across continents. His patronage of learning and architecture showed how wealth could elevate a society's cultural and intellectual standing. Yet his excessive generosity also offers a cautionary tale about the unintended consequences of economic imbalance, as his gold destabilized economies for years. Mansa Musa's life is a story of unmatched wealth and influence, but it is also a testament to the lasting power of education, culture, and leadership. These are Interesting Things with JC.